In this video, I'm going to show you how to customize your grades and schools for each one of the ministry zones if you have multiple ministry zones. I'm working in the adult ministry, and what I'm going to do is customize the grades available for choosing when I actually insert an individual. So if I go to insert and I'm trying to choose a grade, I'm really not going to have any adults that are in the 2 to 3 year old grade category. So I want to actually take those out so I don't have this long list of unneeded grades there. So what I'll do is just click on cancel here, and we're going to go up to the utilities section and system administration, and I'm going to go to grades. Now keep in mind I am working in the adult ministry zone, so it matters which zone you're working in on when you go to utilities and select grades, because when I select this it says I'm customizing the grades for adult ministry. If I went to children's ministry, it'd be customizing it for children's ministry. Now there's a lot of these that I'm not going to need. There's a couple that I want to point out that are special. The post-high school and post-college are grades that do not promote. So once a individual goes from 12th grade into post-high school, no matter how many times you promote them while they're in post-high school, they won't move up to college freshmen unless you actually mark them as college freshmen. And same thing with post-college, is there is nowhere for post-college to promote to. Now another thing to keep in mind is that the order these appear in is important because that's the order the promote feature pulls from when taking someone to the next grade. So for instance, 5th grade is after 4th grade. If I change this and rename it, it will actually promote into whatever I rename this. So it's important that you keep up with the order that they promote in. But for this instance, I want to make a lot of these inactive because I'm not actually going to be using them inside the adult ministry zone. So all I do is I just go through on all the ones that I don't particularly want to appear, and I'll mark them as inactive. Now another thing to keep in mind is that if you modify one of these records, so you change its name here inside the custom grade description, it will change it across the board. So it doesn't change it just for children's ministry or just for adult ministry. It changes it for everybody. But as far as what appears inside of adult ministry through the active button that I'm unchecking on these, that does affect just the ministry itself. So you don't want to make many name changes unless it's across the board for the other ministries as well. Now post-high school, I'm going to leave that on down to post-college, but on post-college what I'm going to do is rename it. I can click on change if I'd like, or double click on it, and I'm just going to name it to NA, just for not available, and click OK, and you can see it changes the name over here. If for some reason you do get to a place where you've made a mistake and you can't remember how to fix it, you can click on Restore Default, and it will change everything back to the original settings that it used to be on. But now I'll just keep it on this for NA, and I'll click on Close. And now if I go to Insert and I go up to Grade, you can see I only have a certain amount of grades available to choose from. So I've actually narrowed that list down tremendously. But if I also go over to children's ministry and click on Insert, you can see I still have a large amount of grades available, but the post-college grade has been affected by renaming it to NA. So I still have the list because I didn't mark these as inactive in children's ministry, only in adult ministry, but the change that I did make to post-college does appear over here as well. Now another thing, I want to go back over to adult ministry, and I want to change some of the schooling as well that appears in adult ministry. So I'll click on Utilities, System Administration, and Schools, and you can see that it's showing Set Up Schools for Adult Ministry. So I'm modifying the schools available for the adult ministry, and homeschool is not one that I want to have available, so I'll uncheck it as well, and definitely not going to use kindergarten. So I just basically go through the grades that I have in here that I'm not going to be using, and you can see I have quite a few custom ones put in. These grades will also import over if you do an import into the system when you're first starting. But I do have this NA grade that I've made earlier. It's just simply by clicking on Insert and then giving it a school name of NA, and I want it to apply to the grade of NA. So my school affects the grade. If I choose post high school, it will not show this school as being an option. Now let's click on OK, and I'll show you how that works. If I go down to Insert again, and if I click on Sophomore, you'll see that I have a few different grades available over here for sophomore, but if I choose on NA, I have the NA grade available, but it's not available on any of these other ones, even though there are a list of a lot of other schools available to choose from. NA is not one of them because it's only applied to the NA grade itself. So let's cancel out of this and go back up here to schools and take a look at this. And you can see I have this school, the NA available as being in here, and I can check that. Now if you want to really reset everything, if you're seeing some schools that shouldn't show up, what you'll need to do is close your Inspire program, Youth Assistant or Children's Assistant, then reopen it, and that will allow it to reset everything inside the schooling, and everything will work out just as you have told it to inside the Utilities menu. So this should get you set with customizing your grades. You can do the very same thing for the other ministry zones if you have other ministry zones, and it should give you a lot of flexibility in being able to narrow down those lists just to being the list of grades and schools that you need.